Amidst the historic atmosphere of the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari circuit, a surprising confession from Scuderia Ferrari boss Frédéric Vasseur about Lewis Hamilton shook the paddock and revealed internal tensions that had been hidden for so long. The statement not only reflected admiration, it also exposed the complex dynamics currently at play within Ferrari. What exactly did Vasseur reveal, and why could this confession shake the foundations of Ferrari? Let's discuss it. Ferrari came to Imola with great expectations. This is their home. This is the holy land of the fans. But Saturday's reality was like a hard slap to the team's pride. Charles Leclerc, the crown prince who was expected to bring glory to Ferrari's new era, was eliminated in Q2. Meanwhile, Hamilton, the driver who had been promised to be the key to the revolution, could only manage a 12th place starting time. Silence fell in the garage. Vasseur's expression was tense, Leclerc looked worried, and Hamilton was silent. But not because he had given up, but because he was calculating. The silence of a champion making a plan. "We can't go on like this," Vasseur told the media after qualifying. "Our car is fast in the race, but not strong enough over a lap. We have to be honest, we are behind." An unusual admission for a Ferrari team principal in front of his own home. But you can't hide the truth forever. And Sunday was the stage to prove it. From 12th on the grid, many expected Lewis Hamilton to play it safe, set a conservative strategy, protect his tires and hope for luck. But that's not Hamilton's style. He doesn't take chances, especially in front of a comeback-hungry Italian crowd that has been waiting for a miracle on home soil for years. As soon as the lights went down, Hamilton showed something special. Aggressive, yet elegant. He didn't wait long to attack, passing Zhou Guanyu and then Nico Hülkenberg in quick succession. But what was most impressive was how he battled with Alex Albon and Oscar Piastri, two young talents on the rise. Every move was clean, clinical, and perfectly timed, like a symphony played by the hands of a master. Amid the noise of the track and the pressure, Hamilton remained calm as always. That is his trademark, a champion who never wavers in the most critical moments. Then came the moment that took the Ferrari paddock's breath away. Hamilton passed Charles Leclerc. Not because of team strategy, not because of an incident at the front, but because of sheer speed and determination. A move so clean and flawless that no one could deny its quality. In front of the fans who had always adored Leclerc, Hamilton showed that he was now the new axis of Ferrari. Not as a guest, but as a leader. From 12th to 4th, Hamilton had not only become the best Ferrari driver in the race. He had also rekindled a hope that had almost been extinguished. The hope that maybe, just maybe, a new era for Ferrari had truly begun, in the hands of a 40-year-old Englishman who had once been considered past his prime. Now he looked like a man who had reinvented himself and found the right momentum with Ferrari to make history again. But like a storm that holds its fury before it hits land, Frédéric Vasseur's post-race statement was the real seismic moment, more so than anything that happened on the track. In an atmosphere of tension and unfulfilled expectations, Vasseur uttered the words that would go down as the beginning of a very different era at Ferrari. "We didn't have the best car, that's for sure," he said, his voice calm but heavy with emotion. "But we were competitive in the race. We just didn't maximize our potential on Saturday." It may have been a simple admission, but to those who understood the team's internal dynamics, it was enough to show that there was a deep sense of dissatisfaction. But it didn't end there, because Vasseur then added a short sentence that instantly changed the temperature of the room, as if a silent explosion had stopped time. "I think we need to start listening to Lewis." For a moment, the press conference room was as quiet as an empty church at night. The journalists, who had been busy taking notes and preparing questions, now looked at each other with the same expression of disbelief at what they had just heard. This is no casual comment. It is the strongest signal yet that Ferrari's internal structure is about to undergo a fundamental change. Not just because the car needs to be faster, but in the mindset, the approach, and who is listened to in technical decision-making. It is a declaration from a Ferrari boss that the input of a 7-time world champion, previously seen as a guest who had to adapt, is now seen as the key to unlocking the way out of the stagnation that has haunted Maranello for years. Lewis Hamilton, who joined this season, was initially positioned as a catalyst, a global icon who would bring a winning aura to the team. But now, Vasseur himself admits, Ferrari doesn't just need Hamilton's presence. They need to listen to him, embrace his influence, make room for his vision. But on the other side of the Ferrari garage, a quieter but no less deadly storm is brewing, and at its center is Charles Leclerc. The young prince of Ferrari, for years positioned as the face of the Prancing Horse's future, now appears to be faltering in the face of the oncoming storm that is Lewis Hamilton. For the first time in years, Leclerc's aura of invincibility began to crack. He was still fast, there was no doubt about it. His one-lap pace was still sharp, his attacking instincts were still aggressive, and his natural talent was still shining through. But in races that required cool strategy, calm tire management, and harmonious communication with his team, Leclerc began to struggle. This was where Hamilton shone, not just as a driver, but as a racing maestro who could read the conditions, unite his team, and seize every opportunity with brutal efficiency. It came to a head in the final Grand Prix when Ferrari instructed him to let Alexander Albon pass to avoid a time penalty. It was a tactical decision that made sense, but it was bittersweet. The camera panned to Leclerc's face as the team radio blared, and there was more than a hint of displeasure. There was deep frustration, a blank expression that betrayed inner turmoil, and a glimpse of uncertainty that he rarely shows in public. It was as if he realized that his role as team leader was slowly being eroded, not by poor results, but by Hamilton's symbolic and strategic power within the team. Ferrari sources say the relationship between Leclerc and Hamilton has been professional, but also cold. There have been no open confrontations, no explosive dramas. But behind the smiles on the podium and the mutual respect in the media, the two men harbor ambitions that are difficult to tame. Their enormous egos, shaped by very different career paths, create an invisible but very real emotional distance. Leclerc is a product of the Ferrari Academy, raised on the promise of glory. Hamilton, meanwhile, arrived as a global icon, a 7-time world champion and a symbol of Ferrari's ambitious revival. Now, as Hamilton begins to gain greater technical confidence from the engineers, full access to data, and a strong voice in strategic decisions, Leclerc seems to be losing his once solid footing. He is no longer the only golden boy. And for the first time in his Maranello career, Leclerc's future is truly in question. Imola has always been a witness to the great moments in the history of Formula One. But perhaps 2025 will be remembered as a real turning point for Ferrari. A moment when not only their performance changed, but also the basis of the team's thinking. From a conservative approach that had proven stagnant for years, Ferrari seemed to open up to something fresher, more collaborative and far more visionary. In the midst of this transition, Lewis Hamilton emerged not just as a driver. He emerged as a true leader, a bringer of the spirit of change. With the experience of 7 world championships under his shoulders, Hamilton demanded not only a fast car, but also a healthy and progressive team culture. And for the first time, Frédéric Vasseur seemed ready to relinquish some of the control to hand Lewis the keys to lead Ferrari out of the shadows of the past and into a promising future. Next up, Monaco, a classic jewel on the F1 calendar. This is Charles Leclerc's hometown, where his childhood dreams collide with the reality of rising expectations. Can Leclerc use the support of his home crowd to rise up and fight back? Share your thoughts below.